Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 584.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the CashFlow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other CashFlow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
Hey. Okay. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you can hear me well. And I didn't just blow out anybody's eardrums on accident. Like if you're listening on a headset or something. Totally sorry about that. Anyway, would love to say welcome. How are you guys doing? Hopefully you're doing well. My name is Jay. I'm here to answer your questions, kind of like we do all the time. We are going to do our best to make sure that things around business, real estate, short-term rentals, very much so, are the things that we get a shot at answering. And we answer this for you as well as all of our students. So our students are probably, why am I not seeing anything in the chat? That could be bad. Don't know what's going on there. So hopefully the chat room is working properly. We'll find out in a second. And for those of you who aren't in the chat room but want to make sure that you can have a chat with me, you can feel free. You can feel free to call in at 417-344-2274. Again, that's 417-344-2274. So feel free to do that. And it does look like we already have somebody on the line, so we're going to definitely make sure that we take care of that. Now, if you saw the title of this particular stream, you saw that I mentioned something about insurance as well as occupancy. Well, there's been two questions inside the Facebook group that I want to bring to everybody's attention because our students were having this conversation, if you will, about, insurance as it relates to short-term rentals, as well as the occupancy and the numbers and the calendar, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to show you some things around the insurance conversation that I'm hoping you pay attention to. Obviously, I'm not a licensed insurance rep, but having sold insurance in the past and obviously using a lot of it today, there are some thoughts that I have around our policies and exactly how we need them structured to make sure that they cover the business properly. Additionally, if you've ever looked at your calendar and went, oh my God, it is blank, and you didn't know what metrics to be looking at so that it's not a guess, so that you can have an idea. What is it pointing? What are these numbers telling me? How can I use maybe the statistics in what Airbnb is saying or the statistics that I've gathered to know, do I need to change anything and is anything broken? So we'll find out, and we'll find out together, of course. So for those of you watching on YouTube and Periscope and all the other places, feel free to type in the chat because that should be working over there, and I'll be able to see that. And those of you who want to talk to me directly, again, that's 417-344-2274. 417-344-2274. And then one day we'll get around to hiring somebody to get us our graphics back. It's going to be great. In the meantime, let's go ahead and talk to, I believe this is April and Brian in Michigan. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Jay. How's it going?
Yes, it worked.
We're doing good.
What's that?
I said we're doing good. I love your shirt.
Thank you. I had to look, like, which one is this? I forget.
You have so many of them.
I do.
Okay.
So what's going on?
So my question is having to do with being prepared when the bad host or the bad guest situations happen. So we're just starting to get the first few of our guests, and we had the first guest show up with a dog when we don't allow dogs, and we weren't really prepared. And so now we're trying to prepare for the future for this to happen, just to have the best method of how to properly handle this without, upsetting the guests too much and without the dog staying. Like, our goal is to get the dog out. Like, I know there's the whole thing with the service animal, and that's a whole different thing, but if the person is not even saying it's a service animal, basically just the quickest way to get the dog out in the best way.
Okay.
Like, what's the process for this?
Got it.
Everything about the dog.
So, all right. So this is going to come down to I've got a number of questions. So basically what you're saying, the short version of what you're saying is, we had a guest we didn't want there any longer. Yes?
Yeah.
Got it. And the fact, in this case, what you're saying is that the guest brought a dog, and that's why you didn't want them, which is okay, cool. And there are many other reasons that you could end up with a guest that you don't want. So is it okay if I cover it just from the general perspective of what do you do when you end up with a guest you don't want?
Absolutely. And also, for this current situation, the guest asked if they could take the dog somewhere and come back, which I was like, I didn't really want to do that either, but...
Well, okay, so
like, where are you gonna go
was that the
dog?
only violation of your house rules? Was that it?
No, they also showed up with two other guests that weren't on the reservation.
Mm-hmm. And
they didn't have a picture on their profile, and we had that they couldn't instant book, and they couldn't book at all without a picture. But I just made this rule, and then I have so much other things going on in my brain. Well, it was a glitch to allow them to instant book, but I saw it, and I still didn't say, I didn't stop the booking, even though I knew they didn't have a picture, which I don't like that.
No, totally understood. And
they ended up breaking.
They ended up what?
More rules, but we didn't find out until They ended up breaking more rules, but we didn't find that out until we actually went through the house afterwards. So. Got it.
Okay, so 1, breathe. 2, you survived. And 3, welcome to the club. Because this is the other side. And here's the good news is that the majority of your experiences should not be like this because you're following the system now. What does that mean? That tends to remove a lot of the elements that a lot of other individuals end up having to deal with. And yeah, so with that being said, I say the following. The next part of your system, or at least that you should have, I don't know if you have an operational assistant or someone who is physically on the ground at or near your location. Do you have this already? Other than you is what I'm referring to.
Since we only have one unit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, since this is our first unit and only our third guest, we are those people.
Okay, got it. And all right, and then at the beginning, you may be those people. So let me say to you, inside of the Facebook group, under the lessons section, what I'm about to go over is actually already there. All right. So if for some reason it feels like it goes too fast, you can just go and get it there because all the steps are literally right there for you. So that way so that if you need it again, rephrase, when you need it again, you'll already have it. And that way you won't have to wonder, like, what do I need to do? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I did see that. So I guess then I'm coming to the realization that basically having a pet is the same process of just getting the guest out. So it's
100% the same.
Any other reason to kick them out?
Yeah, but there is no difference between right. Just because they have a dog, just because they have a pet, or they smoked, or they were too loud, or they were whatever. The process is the same. So the process that we have outlined there, it's an unwanted guest. They are now in this category. Here's what you have done. You have broken the rules you said you would agree to, and now you may leave. Period. There is no difference. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So so then you're good. Now, I will say this.
Yeah.
If someone even after breaking the rules, is willing to pay for the fees and whatnot. Like you said, they brought extra people. So if they were willing to pay the extra fees and then said something to the effect of the animal was no longer going to be present, etc., I don't know that I would. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't like how it went down, and I'd get over it and take the money and move on.
Yeah, I think because these guests were local and it was a low rate anyway, I just had that bad gut feeling, which I was right about, because I found the smoke paraphernalia when we went back to check on the house, so they're about to smoke down. I have them on video. Talking about it, so.
Well, yeah, okay. So now, and that's so most of our successful smoke claims have come from things of that nature, and so yeah, that's good, and it's almost always a local person when stuff like this happens. Was there a second question, or was that it?
The second part to that question is, when you do have to remove these people and you charge a fee, like I did, this is my first resolution I'm putting into Airbnb. Mm-hmm. Would you say it's better to put the resolution in right away, or I know we have 60 days to do it. Is it better to wait 14 days so they can't write a bad review about you?
Oh no, girlfriend. You're always going to need to write and do your resolution darn near immediately, because if you're running, let's say in the case where they rectify the situation, that the only way they're going to rectify the situation is if the resolution is already entered. So, hey, you broke this rule, cool, here's the fee, great, pay. That only happens if you file all of that immediately. And then and let's say now that it's come towards the end of the reservation, you still file immediately, because in a perfect world, you have another person arriving. Because, 14, while yes, they have 14 days to review, you only have a certain amount of time to file the claim, which almost always expires by the time the next guest arrives. So if that makes sense. So you don't have time to really wait to file a claim. You've got to really get those claims in and done. Now, yes, once you've done those resolutions, all those other things, you're never going to be able to prevent someone from writing a bad review. There's nothing you can do. You could do everything right, and if they just feel like writing you a bad review, they can. Even when nothing bad happened. And I wish I was exaggerating. The one thing you do have as a safeguard is their content policy. So each of the platforms have a content policy. And if for some reason the content policy has been violated, or you can prove some sort of malicious intent vis-a-vis the words that they have written to you, then great. Notice I said words they have written, not words they said over the phone, words they've written to you. Then you may have grounds to be able to adjust, hide, remove said review in some way, shape, or form. But for the most part, you can't stop someone from writing a bad review. I've had so many what I would consider to be factually incorrect reviews. I honestly, like I said, that's why I don't do it anymore, because it was just getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
I just don't do it. I'd let my staff handle that, because it's easier to deal with. But I'm with you. I understand. Stay strong. You can do this.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
All right.
We're hanging in there. All right.
You got it. You got it. All right.
Jay, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. So, as for those of you joining us for the first time, this is pretty much how it works. Our CashFlowDiary students, we have access to our staff and myself via our Facebook group, as well as calling in, because, hey, we want to make sure that everybody keeps moving forward. And anytime you've tried to take on a new skill set, well, it always helps to have someone that you can call or talk to when something goes down. We have another caller. I believe this is Robin. And I believe... And Robin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you?
I am good so far. How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can.
I'm hanging in there.
was this in relation to all the screenshots I asked you for?
Uh-huh.
I had a feeling. No, I was planning on talking. What I neglected to tell you was I was going to talk about it today, right now on this. But I'm glad you called in because now I can ask you questions.
I figured I might as well just call and get it taken care of instead of waiting for it.
Okay, perfect. So, okay. So I'm going to, let me pull this up on the screen because that's what I needed in order to do it. And I'm going to give everybody a little bit of history so that they just understand what was going on. All right. So, oops, there it is. Boom. So screen and then me. All right. So as you guys can see, here's what was going down. Robin was making, I can't get rid of that. That's weird. All right. So Robin had made this post looking for some assistance regarding the ranking and search criteria and trying to get her listings to appear higher when it comes to, their position inside of Airbnb and making sure that when searches are happening, what can she do? Is there something wrong with her calendar? The occupancy wasn't what she was hoping for. All of these things. And what I want to do is, as I am showing her, hey, here's how you can diagnose what's going on. I'll show you guys too. That's basically what it comes down to. So for those of you who remember, we had a training where it was like leads times customers times margin times frequency equals growth potential. It's that formula from Digital Marketer with Ryan Dice. And specifically, what it comes down to is when you pull those levers, you can make your business grow, but also by understanding the metrics involved in each of those levers, you can figure out if you have a problem and where that problem might be. And once you've figured out what the diagnosis is, you might have an understanding of what it is you need to do to move forward. So in this particular example, what Robin is using Airbnb, and we are looking at, I'm making sure this, what happened to my screen? There we go. So it looks like there's 5 listings. Is that correct, Robin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And is it still was the one that you were the most concerned about still the king bed, BYU, ski, snowboard, sleep 6 one? Or is it?
I can't keep my listings separated by the titles. My biggest concern that has 0% occupancy right now is. Yep,
that was the one I was talking about.
Number 301. Yeah.
It doesn't. Okay, got it. And then, all right, got it. So that I understand. And I just want to make sure that I'm following along with what the issue is. It's like why 3 of them do good, why 2 not so much, right? It's when you're looking at it, it can be confusing in that way.
Yeah.
Got it. So it's one thing to
they're
look.
All struggling this month, but.
Well, we're going to talk about that too. And let's be clear, it could be this is normal, and there's a different pricing strategy required for this particular season. This is your first December or winter, yes?
Yes, this is my first December.
Okay, got it. Which is fine, and that's part of where I was going with the understanding. Okay, so as I had said in the Facebook group, when you showed me those numbers, I said then, hey, do you have the booking rate? Because this is what I was looking for, was the booking rate, which is simply a measurement of views, okay, to actual people making reservations, okay? And then you were able to provide that, if I remember correctly, for each listing, and you said it was 301, that was the big one. So it would be the one with the 0.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to pull up the right one that has... What's that?
Yeah. Yes, the 301 is like, it says the booking rate is 0.6%, but I don't have any bookings
going forward. You have, because it says the past 30 days is what you're referring to. Yeah, totally understood. Yeah. Got it. I'm looking at it right now. So it's the one that says 0.6%. Totally understood. So what this means is and again, it's just very clear. Views, take the views, 2 divided by 312. That's how they get the 0.6. And then after you provided this, if I remember correctly, I asked for your conversion rate, right? And what you said, it was 301, 1, 2, 3, 3.
Or the conversation, yeah.
The conversion rate, yes. Because what I wanted to know was how many times have you received inquiries during this same period? And that's basically what I was trying to understand. So, and this is what I would say to everyone. So what tends to happen is we all look at occupancy and go, what's the problem? All right, cool. Well, that means our bookings are not as high as we'd like them to be. So before a booking happens, an inquiry must happen, which is a statistic you can measure. And before the inquiry must happen, views must happen, which is another statistic that you can measure. And before the views happen, impressions happen, which are all statistics that you can measure. Do you see where I'm coming how I'm coming up with this,
Absolutely,
Robin?
yes. Yes.
Okay, so what we now have to do is all we simply do is ask ourselves, when we go back to, was this the impressions one? Oh, that's not the one with the impressions on it. Can you go inside and tell me what the impressions are for that one for the past 30 days, please? Because I thought I had actually...
Impressions? Well, you asked me for the conversation rate. Let me look up the impressions for you real quick.
Yeah. The conversion rate is still important, and it's also the impressions are also important. Is the challenge? Okay.
Yeah. And where do I find the impression rate at?
The impressions should also be inside. I wish I had my phone. I could actually just show you. The impressions are also inside the performance under.
In Airbnb or Smart BNB?
It's an Airbnb.
Okay.
That's true. I should have started with that.
Let's go to...
Because it's right where your click-through ratio was, because I remember that being pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm under my performance tab.
Yep.
And then where do I go after that?
Hold on. Maybe, you know what? I thought I saw you had that. Maybe I did have it. Because I really thought that it was there. Hold on. Maybe it was... yes. Here it is. You actually had given it to... It's right here. So this is what I meant. Where you had the daily first page impressions. You see this?
Oh, yes.
This is what I was
sent it to John.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why I got confused. I was like, where is it? So if I'm looking at this correctly, first page impressions are 108. Is that correct? For the same one?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So now I have all the numbers in order to help you here. And this is basically what everyone should do. You look at first, so let's say you have 108 impressions. Those 108 impressions, if I remember correctly, was 44 views? No. First page, how many views was it? It says 3 clicks, but what does it say?
It says 3 clicks. I don't know how many views it was.
Yep. I'm going back to that. But it's views of the last 30 days. 0.06.
Let me make sure that's the last 30 days. That might just be December.
Yeah, I was going to say those impression numbers might just be... I was going to ask you if the impression numbers were for the last 30 days or just for December. Because what it's saying here is that
let's look at
the views are 312, so it should be a number near there.
Okay, I'm looking for it's going when it does the report automatically on Airbnb, it does for the next 30 days, not the same 30 days. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, say again.
Airbnb report. So let me go back for November 9th to December 9th.
Yeah, there you go. And I need the number of impressions.
On 301, it is 85.
I'm sorry? Got it.
First, it was 85?
Got it. No problem.
First page impression.
Yep. I just realized why it said that, because it's only first page is what it's referring to. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got views, and then how many over that 30-day period? How many was inquiries? Your conversion rate was it 50%? So.
I have too many things. I'm keeping everything all messed up. I can't keep
I know. That's why I'm
trying.
trying. That's why. Just give me a second. I'll go find it because I wrote it down. All right. That's why I had you make the screenshots, because it would have been impossible to keep finding. Got it. So now, can you go make sure that on this conversion rate metric, that it is also, that's in Smart B&B, that it is also for the same time period?
Okay, let me go. I believe that one is correct for the past 30 days. So Smart B&B automatically does the past 30 days, where Airbnb does the next 30 days.
I understand, and I agree with you, but I just want to make sure.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just making sure. I'm logging in right now, which is
no problem.
Super fast internet in my unit, but super slow internet at home.
I know, right? It's like sometimes you want to stay in your own unit because the internet's better.
Yeah. So for my messaging, my overview. So I need to go to listing. It's at 50%, yes, for the past 30 days.
Okay, got it. So,
but that's on 2 inquiries and 1 booking.
Well, hold on. Because if I remember correctly, when we were just looking at this, when I was looking at your booking rate, it said it was 0.6%, yes?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that's what we were looking at. So,
and the booking rate is in Airbnb. But that's only on your phone. I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find that anywhere on the desktop version to find the booking rate. I could only find it on the phone. Which is weird.
You know what? That's very possible. I've never taken the time to go, hey, is it different in those 2 places? But anyway, so totally understood. And do you see? Okay, so here are the numbers. This is what you're now telling me. And for those of you watching, the first time you do this, it could take this kind of time to figure all these things out. You've got 85 first page impressions, 312 views, which is kind of important to me. And then you've got 4 inquiries with 2 reservations. That's how I see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when I look at this, there are a couple of things that jump out at me, because if I take, for example, this right here, this inquiry number, if I take 4 divided by 312, that's barely so that means approximately 1.28% of the time when someone reads your listing, they choose to inquire, which makes me literally the first thing that comes to my mind is, did you write your own listings?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had training as a copywriter or anything of that nature?
No.
Got it. And I'm not saying you have to, but I am saying that number is suspect, and it's one of those things that makes me go, what words is she using that is, quote unquote, preventing people from inquiring? Do you see why I'm saying that? Because that number...
Absolutely.
If you have 312 people read it and then choose not to, you have to ask. I have to ask, what's up? Like, to not even inquire. It makes me wonder. I don't know. I just don't know what I don't know, but it does make me wonder. Now, with that being said, when they do inquire, you close them, which is great. So right now, what this points to is two possible things, because the next thing I need to know, the next thing I really want to know is the total number of impressions, not just first page. Because let's say, let me see, actually, hold on, I can figure this out. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. Don't do that, Jay. Don't do that. Because you have, I'm gonna show you exactly what you need to know next. Because instead of first page impressions, I need to know total number impressions, which was on your click-through rate, which was the thing that you showed to John. Yes, right here. So we're going to take the same one. Oh, that's just first page click-through. Okay, well, you know what? Let's use this. It's not as good as what I wanted, but I'll take it. So let me explain what I mean. A click-through rate, meaning when someone sees your listing, do you create curiosity enough for them to go, hey, let's find out more? There isn't a marketer in the world who wouldn't love any one of the numbers that you've got here. Does that make sense? Getting click-through rates of 2.7, yeah. That's 4.8 and 5%. It's like, sweet Jesus. Which suggests to me that those three, the ones that are higher, those feature image photos are kind of doing their job. The two that are 1.5%, I might want to look at. Does that make sense? Because I'm trying to get them to click. Uh-huh. So when you are looking at your click-through ratio, specifically as it relates to Airbnb, you've got your title and you've got your thumbnail. That's all you got to really look at to go, does this make sense? So you're already on the first page is what they're showing you. And when you are on the first page, they kind of click through 2.7%, which is not bad. It's pretty actually great. And what I'm saying to you is these two that are at 1.5 are kind of the ones that I would be looking at specifically on their feature image and or title. But let's just say that you maintain that kind of click-through ratio all the way through, which would explain your 312 views. The way that I would figure this out is I would take that same 312, like so. Let me show you. So I'm going to take that 312 and divide that by the 2.7. That means you would have a lot of views, like 11,550. I'm going to round that up, 6. And what this is beginning to tell me is that I really, really, really want to look at like the words you're using in your listing, because that could be one of the things. That's one of the things I'm thinking about when it comes to, why aren't they inquiring? Because something is stopping them from inquiring. I just want you to be able to see that and see how the math is telling me that. Hello there, entrepreneur. This is Jay Massey. I know that if you've ever gone over to the site, CashFlowDiary.com, you may have asked yourself, where on earth do you get a domain name from? Especially as you are beginning to build your bigger, better, badder business, you need a web presence. You need the email address. You need a way for people to contact you electronically so that you can stop doing the @gmail.com game. Well, the good folks over at GoDaddy have definitely supplied us with every domain that we have ever used. So what I want you to do is I want you to go over to trygodaddy.com/CashFlowDiary. Again, that's trygodaddy.com/CashFlowDiary, because it's a quick way for you to get set up to capture your domain name the exact way that you want it. They got easy search functions, and most importantly for you is that you'll be up and running today. As I said, once you get started, stay started. Don't let small little obstacles of how to get your own domain name going stop you. So again, go to trygodaddy.com/CashFlowDiary, and let's get back to the rest of the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will. I can't follow you on your screen because I'm on the delay.
Right. But I forgot you're on the delay. I totally forgot about that. Yes. So yes. Well, it's there. And the next thing that I want to say, that the only other thing that actually comes to mind right now is your pricing. That's the only other thing I begin to question or looking at, is wondering, hey, is she priced appropriately? However, that would be the only other question that I would ask. However, your own statistics tell me then that's probably not the case, because the frequency with which you are on the first page in terms of the rest of your geographic market, because they're saying that that particular listing is on the front page, is on the first page 145% more than similar listings. Does that make? Yeah, I mean, so
Yes.
I go back to what is she saying? I literally go back to, because if you're on the front page 145% more than everyone, and then they're still not inquiring, and I've already so I'm still questioning what you're writing. If your because your pricing was part of how you get on that front page, the only thing left is reviews. So I have to ask, how many reviews does this listing have?
That particular listing, I think has 3.
How many? Did you say 3? Okay, yeah, okay. Now we're starting to get somewhere. All right, so I've got 2 things I'm working with. I've got a brand, so this sounds like a new listing, and they're not inquiring.
Yes.
I think a part of this, based upon, again, I'm just all numbers. The only subjective thing are the words that you're using inside your listing, and we don't have the time to do the emotional qualitative analysis on that, but that's really what I would be thinking about. And you only have you only have 3 reviews on that listing.
Well, I just looked. It says there is 4 5-star reviews.
There's what?
I have 4, which is there's 4. There are 4, but they're all 5-star.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you're doing bad. I'm just saying here's what's happening. And this is what I mean by when you start a listing near low season, the beginning of that is always going to be lower, because the people who started their listing in the summer, they just have more reviews than you. And they're going to get booked first because it feels, I mean, the customer tends to feel like, okay, this is, they have more choice typically during this particular time. And it happens, I mean, that's happened many, many times, and it continues to happen. And with that being said, it's like I said, it's either the words in the listing or the fact that there's only 3 reviews. And I'm going to slant towards it's the 3 reviews more than it is the words in the listing, because you've made it to 5 listings, which tells me that you've managed to get a good number of reviews on some of the other ones, and you kind of know what you're doing. Does that make sense? Because you're appearing on the first page too frequently.
My first unit, my first unit came live in August. My next 2 came live in, I guess the very end of August. So I guess September, and the next 2 came, and then I have 4 in October. So I have 4 listings I did all in October.
Yeah, no, I
So everything I have is new.
Well, there's a new, and then there's what Airbnb considers to be new. Those are 2 different things. It's recent, maybe, and proven. And you've got to get, so you want to, there's something that seems to change once your listing hits around, I would say 10 reviews, that I don't have insight into their algorithm. They've never called me. I wish they would love to ask them some questions, but there's something that seems to happen around that time. And that's just kind of where this quote unquote cookie is crumbling. The only other thing that like I said, that I would look at is, outside of the words and the reviews, is so if you take one day and say the next 6 weeks or 60 days, no, hold on. Did I do that right? No, I didn't do that right. In the next 30 to 45 days, and put it at a ridiculously low price, then you have a shot at possibly getting on the first page even more than you already are. But at this moment, I don't see a need for you to do that, considering what you're making happen right now. The only 2 things I've got for you are reviews, and I'd look at some of the word choices that you're using, and maybe even, it could be something as simple as Well, I would imagine you're using the same house rules on all of them, but that's really what's going down in my head. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay. But I would look at those two things, and I've got to. I unfortunately have to check to see who else. Yes, I have a number of people on hold now that I have to get to. But those are the things that I'm thinking of, Robin, that would be able to assist you in getting past, or at least understanding some of the things that you would do. Change up some of the words, maybe.
Okay.
That's the only thing I really got. Because I don't know what else. I don't see anything else, and there's nothing else in your numbers that's saying something is broken.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, thanks for your help, Jay. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Ernesto. I'm sorry, Robin. Gotta go. Ernesto, how are you, sir? Ernesto, are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Do you hear me? Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
I lost you for a second.
Yeah, nope, I'm here. What's up?
I just this Ernesto from the Chicago area.
Yep, where it's like 12 degrees outside.
I have a question. I understand. Yeah, it's cool. It's pretty chill. I know you don't like cold weather, but
I do not.
Fine. We'll survive. Hey, I understand we are not to allow our customers to receive packages, FedEx and stuff like that at the unit.
Right.
Because of tenant rights and because we don't know where they're receiving, like
correct.
Cooking stuff,
Right.
However, you also mentioned that we can tell them there's a UPS store right around the corner that you can receive whatever you want. That keeps the concept of not receiving or generating tenant rights. But what if they still send stuff that they shouldn't? And they don't, so it looks like am I missing something, because they can still ship something somewhere else and then bring it. I know we can see it in the camera, at the entrance, but I don't know. Maybe that I'm missing something. I was just curious about.
So if I understand you correctly, specifically what you're saying is that what happens when they send something even after I told them not to?
No, you explained very clearly that they cannot receive packages because they can be receiving stuff that they shouldn't.
Right.
However, we tell them there's a UPS store around the corner, so you can receive things there. So it kind of defeats the purpose of why you bring into my unit. I don't know if I'm missing something.
Why they're what to their unit? I'm sorry. I don't
bringing stuff packages, like.
Oh, got it. You're saying they could send.
Off?
Well, okay. So because in theory, here's what's happening when there are different security procedures that are being followed when you're sending to a commercial location, and specifically in this case a UPS store, than what are necessarily followed when they send to your house. Does that make sense? They're set up for it. They're insured against it. There's just so many other things. There's foot traffic issues. There's just liability that you are assuming that I would assume you wouldn't want because of that. Does that make sense?
Yes, I get it. So if they want there to send bad stuff to the UPS store, that's what you're saying? Yeah,
I don't mind if they send it to the UPS store, UPS clears the package, whatever, great. There's a nice, cool paper trail. Everybody knows what happens. And then they bring it. Okay, fine. I can live with that. I don't want you to, have 40 packages, but whatever. Especially right now around Christmas, that's very possible. And I would rather it be that than they come to all of that stuff starts to come to your location. Because I can promise you, I've heard of cases, many, at one of which in the Chicago area, in fact, where they were shipping stuff, and what they were shipping were not legal things. And that's exactly the process that the police were using in order to catch them, is because that's how they were making it happen. So nope, no home deliveries.
Got it.
And you don't want to end up on the news for stuff like that. Please.
I know. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem. Okay, we got Janan. Yes.
What's
that? Okay.
When are you coming?
Okay, so we've got Janan, I believe. Oh, darn it. Did I hit the right button? Yes. Here it comes. All right. So, Janan, how are you?
Good, and you? Can you hear me?
Wow. Yes, you come through loud. I like it. Good stuff. So
Okay.
you were the other subject of conversation in terms of insurance, and that basically what I wanted to do, since the topic came up. I'm gonna pull up what you were asking and show everyone, and hopefully give a answer. Well, I'm not saying you're going to like my answer, but I am going to at least help you understand. Okay. So that way you know how to do these things and what potential options there may be, and where. What's this? Oh no, that's your. I'm trying to find your post all of a sudden, and now I can't. And then for those of you who are still watching and you've typed something in the chat, yes, I will get to it. I haven't forgotten. I am trying to get through the phone call people right now. Okay, Janan, I know you just posted this, but I cannot find. Oh, ha!
Do you want me to tag you?
No. What happened is that my keyboard kept auto-correcting the spelling of your name to Jenna. And I did not notice until just. I'm like, I can't.
No worries.
I can't type it. It's not here. And then there it is. All right, got it. So for everyone at home. So basically, what happened is that Janan had a question regarding business income, or specifically lost business income when it comes to insurance. Again, insurance is a very interesting topic and something of great debate. There aren't many places that we recommend, and at the end of the day, there are many coverages that you want to make sure that you do have when you are operating this particular business. Now, I know for a fact, because I've looked at, and I'm going to show you guys in a second, that she has the right type of policy. She got it from the right type of company. However, I did notice some things, Janan, that you want to consider in the future to change, and I will definitely point those two things out. But help me, catch me up. I just want to make sure that I understand what happened, because it sounds, you said you had a flood earlier this year on this unit, and this unit has been in existence for how long?
That one it wasn't even in a year. So we started in September, and the flood was in the end of July.
Got it.
And then it got flooded, and then they said it was going to take like 2 months to rehab, so we moved it.
Yep. Now, did you incur any expense in the moving?
Yeah, so we had to like make a whole list of all the stuff that had to be replaced, and then stuff that incurred during moving. And then that's when she told me you have up to 12 months of lost business income. And then basically I had to cancel certain guests, and then I had to block off days off the calendar. But they only paid me out for the actual guests that I canceled. Correct.
And your question was specifically so everyone can hear it in your words? Because I know somebody just got mad like right now.
So the question that I have is, I want to get paid out for the days that I had to block, because since there's penalties for hosts that cancel on guests, like I didn't want to have people booking my unit and then have to cancel on them. So
totally understood.
I just blocked off those days, and so I tried to give them like, let's get an average of all of the bookings I had to cancel, and that could be like a nightly rate for the days I had to block off. So basically, if I had not blocked off the days, technically they would have paid me.
You mean not blocked them off, got them booked, and then canceled? They would have paid you.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
And one more question. Who filed the claim?
Who?
Yes, who filed the claim?
Me.
Got it. Okay. All of those are...
So we had because me, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was you. I don't know. I'm asking. But I just want to make sure.
Well, we had like the insurance.
Yeah, well, and that's
I'm dealing with
that.
insurance.
So there are some
It's
points that I'm going to be
confusing.
making, and that'll be learning for everybody. But I just wanted to make sure that was said.
Yes.
Okay. That certain things were said. Okay.
Yes.
So with that being said, there were a number of things. One, good job getting the right coverages in terms of the aggregate limits: 2 million, 1 million each occurrence. Good job there. One of the things that I thought was interesting, by the way, is that I just want to bring to your attention. I don't know if you did this on purpose, but was this a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom unit?
This is a 1-bedroom.
That's what I thought. And your limit of income insurance was $50,000. Why did you choose that number?
Income limit? I don't know. I didn't pick that. I think that was just like whatever standard one they gave us. So the only numbers that so like the business, the only thing I changed from this experience was I changed my content limit from 10 to 20,000. And then I don't know what, the rest of it was just I was going off whatever was the default. So this was definitely a good learning experience.
Oh, absolutely. We all go through it in various different ways. So, and you pointed out the second thing that I was about to say was, why did you only have your personal property at $10,000? Now, there's another challenge that I just want to bring to your attention, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that I know will assist you in the future should this happen. Okay.
Okay.
So one, when it comes down to actually getting insurance together, there's replacement cost and then there's actual cash value. Are you familiar with those two terms? You can say no.
I only, from talking with the judge, no.
Got it. That's completely fine. But this is so important for everybody. You're about to make a lot of people really, really happy. They're going to profit from your pain. So thank you for sharing. And here's what I mean by that.
You're welcome.
There's when it comes to fair market value or actual cash value, the challenge is you have to prove what the actual loss was, usually minus a depreciation, depending if it's personal property or not. And here's the thing. I tend to, if I'm going to do something that is not replacement costs, here's what I mean. Replacement cost means the insurance company will pay for what it costs to replace it. For example, let's pretend you bought a 50-inch flat screen TV that was the latest model, keywords here, latest model at the time when you actually made the insurance. But now what you're doing, a loss occurs, you want whatever the newest version is, latest model, which probably is a different price than them saying, hey, what we'll do is we'll pay you for that 2017 model that you bought based upon its value today. One is based upon that old item and what it's worth today. The other is, hey, here's a new similar like kind item. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And when you are looking at your business income for that reason, and well, many more, one of the things that I choose to do is make my business income, like my business income limits, I believe on my 1-bedrooms is $120,000 because I know they're going to try to go the other direction. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. You mean, are you your lost business income, or are you talking about right now about how you were talking about the TV replacing it?
I'm gonna get to contents in a second, but I'm talking about my lost business income.
Oh, okay.
I have that set at $120,000.
Okay.
Because I understand what's going to happen once a claim goes in. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, when it comes to contents coverage, because again, that same situation is at play. I actually have my contents at $40,000 because you're going to want enough. If something happens, you're going to want enough funds so that you can replace everything minus what those things were worth at the time of loss. So remember, all of the furniture, fixtures, and equipment that we go in there with is going to be depreciated. I know this going in. And because of that, I may have paid, 5, 10, 20, whatever I paid for that equipment is one thing, but I'm trying to get the insurance company to replace it because I need a new TV. I don't need half a TV because they're trying to, give me the actual cash value. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So are you saying that like you raise more than what you think you need because when
Always.
It's smaller, like they kind of fight you more?
Yes.
Like because I'm asking for like a bigger percentage of what I'm covered for versus you're like 40,000. Maybe you're asking for 10 and they actually end up paying out the entire 10 or whatever.
Boom. 100%. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
That is 100% what I'm saying. Next, I also noticed you have that policy in the name. You did not have that policy in an entity name,
business,
which is Okay. Now here's why I'm sharing this with you. All of these things matter. Now, I just told you we have the same insurance except for two things. I have more than twice the business income coverage and nearly 4 times the contents coverage. Who do you think is paying more per unit for their insurance, me or you? Think about it.
I feel like this is a trick question. I would say you, but then since mine's in personal name, that probably me.
Correct. You're paying about $100 more per unit, and I'm going to encourage you again, get the entity done and get the coverages situated properly so that you can have the higher coverage and all of those other things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Now.
So they're giving it cheaper to businesses.
What's that?
I said their insurance is cheaper when it's in your business name.
So commercial insurance.
You say you have 40,000.
Commercial insurance. Remember, this is a type of commercial general liability policy, and it's one thing if you're insuring an entity. It's another if you're insuring a human being who is a sole proprietor, which is how they have that policy currently written. And you don't want that.
No wonder.
Okay? Now, here's how... Now I'm going to ask this question, and depending on your answer, there's still some hope here. Have you received a check or wire or any money from them that you have deposited or cashed in any way?
So I have received 2 checks, but I haven't deposited, and I made sure when I was talking to the insurance adjuster, she said that this is an undisputed amount and that I still can go back and basically submit another claim.
Totally understood. Okay, so you have not cashed a check, yes?
Correct.
Perfect. All right, so this is where we're about to have some fun now, all right? Because there are a couple of other coverages that I don't think... Okay, so first of all, let me say it this way. This is why I suddenly got excited, right? Here's why. You got to understand, when you're filing a claim, what's technically happening is you, the insured, have to prove that there was damage or a loss, and the claim adjuster that you're typically speaking with does not work for you, meaning their job is to literally pay what you ask for as small as humanly possible, especially when you have the responsibility. We as the insured have the responsibility to make the claim. Meaning, there are other coverages that I know you have that I believe should / would apply on this particular claim that you may not have asked for simply because you don't know, and they have literally no obligation to tell you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, which is why I was asking you guys.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was that. And here are the two words that are going to solve a lot of this for you. It is called a public adjuster.
Awesome.
Okay. So here's the best part of your situation. The majority of the public adjusters that I have worked with and that I know, they work on contingency in two different forms. There's the public adjuster who works on contingency, meaning you've not yet filed the claim at all, and they're going to run the entire thing for you and then get it done and take a percentage of what is received. And then there's the public adjuster who maybe you filed the claim or what you think is the claim because you've done your best. You've got in your hand the checks, but you still think there's more there. And then what they tend to do is take a percentage of the increase that they're able to bring to the table. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
What that really means is you have nothing to lose by contacting a public adjuster. And what a public adjuster usually is, it's probably someone who maybe used to sell insurance, but is possibly insurance licensed, but there's usually an attorney working for the company somewhere who loves to stick it to insurance companies and make sure that they pay insurance for everything that we've paid for. And although I am not an insurance adjuster, insurance related in any way, and definitely not an attorney, I am telling you, I've read the policy. I have the same one. And I'm reasonably certain that there are additional coverages that you could apply for in order to increase the amount of the claim and therefore the amount that you actually receive. And I am strongly encouraging you to go to Google and type the words public adjuster near me and interview at least 3 of them and pick one. That's literally what I'm asking you to do.
Okay. So then the adjuster that the insurance company sent to when there was a flood and everything.
Works for them, not you.
She works for them.
Yes.
Because she was making it seem like she was on our side.
That's her job.
Okay, got it.
That's her job. Literally her job.
Okay, and then with this public adjuster, what would be like the key things you're looking for when you're interviewing them?
Well, experience specifically with either short-term rentals. Experience with short-term rentals, and definitely experience working. Well, in this particular case, because the company on the other end is Lloyd's. Because some of them have relationships with people on the other quote unquote other side. So if they've already got some relationships with Lloyd's and Lloyd's people, as well as they just understand our model and how it works, I think that would be, or if they have hotel experience, that would also be helpful in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's
and
what I would.
This is not something like you find on Upwork or something like that. Like there would be.
No, ma'am.
Are they usually working for insurance companies?
Some of them are independent, and no, they're usually an independent company of some kind. They're usually never an insurance company at all.
Okay.
Remember, they're the other side. They're not exactly the ones the insurance companies are looking to hear from. Okay.
Okay.
So
I was just worried about like them being legit.
Yeah, and that's exactly that's exactly why I'm suggesting you do the Google search. But if I'm not mistaken, let me see. I'm gonna see if I can find it real fast. Public adjuster California license, because you should be able to look that up under the DOI, Department of Insurance.
So they should be licensed.
Yes, so you can at least look up their license and find out some additional history with them as well, to find out what might be going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Because the only other thing she told me that I could like claim is basically like working hours that we worked, and then just submit like the line by line items again for certain inventory that she thought wouldn't get past the first time.
Yeah, no, totally understood. And the process that she is recommending is very common, and yet I'm reasonably certain there are things that are not being mentioned. All I can tell you is every time I've used a public adjuster, the amount that we receive magically goes up.
More.
That's all I know.
So then the public adjuster will read my insurance policy, basically.
All 91
and
pages.
He will help me.
All 91.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So, thank you for being willing and to share so that everyone else here can learn. I'm sure the chat is full of, oh my God, I didn't know. And they have you to thank for it, because this is, again, I don't normally take the time to talk about this, but I was like, okay, here are the two things that really, I can talk about this. Because no one ever really cares until something like this happens. And then they're like, cool. Like if I had said, ooh, come watch this, no one would care. But because it happened to a person that they know, and they're like, cool, I'm watching and I'm learning. And now everyone's excited. But you can't advertise, come learn about insurance, because nobody wants that.
It's funny because when we set up the unit, Vivint didn't have water sensors. And then now they do.
Yeah, now they do. Totally makes a difference.
I'm including them in my unit, but it probably won't happen.
Right? Tell me about it. Anyway.
And then
go ahead.
The other question I had was similar to you were helping someone else at the beginning, but mine's a little bit different in the sense that I had a guest that was 3 months long, and I moved her from that flooded unit to the brand new unit. So that one only has like one review, and so I posted the same pictures like you had asked from her, and so I was just wondering, do I just like do I just lower my prices, or Carol mentioned I could like change the name of the listing?
Yeah, you have a very similar issue, and I would definitely change the name of the listing, and I would keep messing with the feature photo as well, because new listings during slow season, guys, gals, everybody, it's harder because it's slower seasons. That's just what happens, and you know that going in, because you'll make up for it during the high season for sure. Plus, did you categorize? Okay. Anyway, make sure you say what you just told me to the public adjuster. Ooh, do you have is Marcy doing your bookkeeping?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Make sure that you tell the public adjuster what you just said about moving the guest, okay? And make sure that you tell the public adjuster that you do have a bookkeeper in terms of backup documentation, etc., and how sensitive and valuable reviews are. This is good. Yeah. Like I said, I think you have more. There's more there. That's all I'm going to say. Call the public adjuster.
Are you saying maybe there might be also lost business income from the new unit?
Yes. I'm almost certain of it. Because part of business income because here's what you're telling me. Part of your business income coverage is, yes, that unit went down, but now that you're operating again, you just said my new unit is now going to underperform. We don't know how long, but we know it's going to underperform. So I am getting even more excited and know that that's there. The only thing that's bugging the tar out of me is that you have your limit set so low. That's like, that's like, I wish they were higher. Yeah. Because then I just wish they were higher.
Right.
That's all.
Do you also keep your lost business income? I don't know if you're allowed to change this, but to 12 months, because I think
yeah. 12 months is normal, and yes, that's definitely for sure. Definitely for sure. Cool. Yep. Oh, I have another caller. This is good. What's that?
Oh, just for this listing, just change the title and then talk to the public adjuster.
I would change the title. I would definitely change the title. I would show the difference in revenue that's currently happening, difference in performance, because you've got to be able to use and document these numbers and help them understand that this thing is going to underperform until about March. And even then, you could probably still have some more. So all I'm saying is there's more there.
Got it.
Got it?
Yeah, because I know at the beginning when you have a new listing, Airbnb kind of like boosts it, right? And so since this is not new anymore, technically, it's 3 months old. They're not really boosting it anymore.
Yeah, boosting, but you've got no reviews.
Yeah.
You've
okay.
got. Yeah. Tell the public adjuster. I think you're going to be happy. Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jay.
No problem.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got one more caller for today, and then the people in the Facebook, all of you who have been chatting, I can see it scrolling out of the corner of my eye. I will get there, and then we'll be done. Okay. So Veronica, how are you? Is it Veronica? Yes.
I'm doing great. How are you, Jay?
I am good. I'm answering very complicated questions today, so please tell me it's something easy.
Sure, it'll be easier for you. Actually, Ernesto, my husband, is next to me as well.
Okay.
Okay, so we have two questions. The first one is about the entity.
Okay.
The question is, we have already an LLC, which we have elected to be an S Corp
Oh, okay.
for tax purposes.
Uh-huh.
So we wanted to know if we could use that one for this business, or we have to create a brand new one.
I would say if your attorney says you can use it, I don't see why I don't know a reason why you can't, but I'm not an attorney. So I believe there are many people who are using that particular structure. We just use an S Corp, and I know, but there are also some who use an LLC, and then you're using an LLC taxed as an S Corp. So whatever they say is what I would go with.
Okay, that works. The second question is, in the training, in the blueprint, I saw in the best practices and in the resources section, this letter for landlords.
Oh.
That is more like a presentation letter.
Yep.
Benefits of
Yep.
doing business with you versus the average renter and stuff.
Yep.
One of the questions that Ernesto has is, what if we present that letter and then for whatever reason they use that against us? Is that something that
How would they use it against
happens
you?
a lot? That it says there, well, it's going to be less damaging or less use of the utilities, less use of, I remember the appliances and stuff, like, sounds very promising, and if something happens, like a commitment, and they will bring it back and say, hey, you said these things here. And
Well, they're
happen.
not, typically they're not paying for the utilities. You are. And if there is damage, you're usually going to pay for that too, as well as you have insurance. I don't see. So here's what I'm saying. Even if they wanted to use that as some, I don't know what kind of leverage that would actually be, because it's not exactly like a binding contract, and it's not in your lease. What kind of damage have you really done that's not fixable, or that you haven't already fixed or isn't covered? Does that make sense? Like, what did they lose? What harm did you do if it actually happened?
Okay.
That's really what I'm saying. So, but if you're uncomfortable with those parts, then fine, take them out. However, there's lots of documentation out there that shows just think about what happens when you go travel. It's not like you sit around using the television, the electricity. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you for being easy. We had difficult questions today.
Okay, great.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to go through this chat so rapid fire, and we'll see how this goes. I got to scroll all the way back. All right, got it. What is this? It says, hey, Jay, good seeing you. Yes, Eric, that was a while ago. Hi. Oh, I don't know if you're still here, but it is. It is. And thank you, Eric, for testing out the chat room, because I was wondering, like, is it working? Because it was pretty crazy. So let's see. What is this? Oh, no, Leonard, you were not the only one, but thank you. You guys are awesome for, making sure that the chat is working. And yes, Megan, they got the call-in number, but we're not doing that right now. I'm trying to get through. Let me know if I should call in. There you are. Been hunting for this live stream for 20 minutes. Yes, Susan, I got a notification as we were live that something strange was happening on Facebook. We don't really know actually, it's this camera. We don't really know what happened. And yeah, so like really no clue what happened. We just know that there was something happened on Facebook, but YouTube was great. And then the chat didn't come up for a while, but yes. Let's see. So go for it, Janan. Oh, so Janan, you have a cheerleader. Megan is excited for you. And I think a lot of people probably are now that they're probably fearing or dreading the idea of a claim less than they were before. So this is good. And then let me see, Ernesto. Oh my God, I had no clue. I see this. Is there an upfront charge for public adjuster service? That's an interesting question. That was actually one of the questions I had the first time I used them. The majority of the public adjusters that I have personally used are always contingent, which is why I was never, which honestly got me really, really comfortable with using and working with them, because what that means is they're now on the same side, so to speak, of the compensation as with you. Because remember, if they can't make the claim big, 20% of zero is not much, right? So if they can't make the claim bigger, then, well, they're probably not going to take the case. But if they see things like some of the things that you heard me say, and when Janan shows them her books and the revenue that's there, that this new unit will likely underperform because of, they know how to prove those cases and make that happen so that she gets fairly compensated, again, for what she paid for. We're not asking anything for what she's not due. And it's just naive. And many people do this with their insurance. This, by the way, this applies to every type of insurance. So if you've been in an auto accident, it applies every type of insurance, guys. This is just how it works. So, and for us to actually expect the insurance company to volunteer, hey, you could file a claim for this and file a claim for that too, you know? Yeah. And I learned because I had buildings burned down, and I learned a lot through that. But you know, these are things. So yay. But it's not sexy to talk about. No one ever really cares. Like I said, no one cares until now they need it. And then they're like, which is why I've consistently been like, there's a reason specifically in the insurance category, there are so very few recommendations, because sometimes a public adjuster may not take the case simply because they know that particular insurance company that you're working with just isn't, well, it's that particular insurance company that you're working with. Okay. I'm not naming any names. I'm just telling you, an public adjuster knows which companies to avoid, because they know who doesn't pay and who does what's right and who doesn't. And that's really what I'm trying to say. So, but no, I would not consider, was that No More Delay? I guess you were on YouTube. Hopefully you're still there. I would not, that would be one of those things. That's why I was telling her to call multiple. If a public adjuster wanted me to pay up front, that's a warning sign, and you're going to go straight to the bottom of the list, if not into the round file. So, so love the insurance piece. What insurance company do you recommend? I would love to answer that question if for some reason, I could do so in a legal fashion. And the problem, part of the challenge is, that somebody could construe that as me trying to sell insurance, and that's not what I'm doing, and because I don't have an insurance license. But I hear you. I will say this though: if you ask in the student group, you'll probably find out. YouTube has some good questions. Yes, they did have that today. It was pretty awesome. Thank you, Jay. This is a huge worry off my shoulders. Yes, because when something happens, that's why you buy insurance, for the peace of mind of knowing that when something happens, you want to get back to normal, back whole. That's the entire concept of insurance. And you want to be made whole. But the downside is it's up to us to describe adequately and in terms that fit the coverages that we've purchased what whole means. And if we fail to describe, they're not going to volunteer. They're never going to make the case on your behalf because they don't have to. They only have to pay what you ask them to when you make the claim. And the biggest thing that we all do is we think, hey, the claims adjuster, she was so nice, he was so great. But they don't eat. The insurance company is the one that's feeding them. And you have to think about that. So, because and I promise you, the insurance company keeps track of which adjusters are generous, we'll say, and which ones aren't, right? They keep track. I'm just going to leave it at that. Keep moving. So, oh, goodness. And yes, Janan, please keep the group posted because this could be, so just so you know, Janan, it also would not be uncommon for this to be a 3-month ordeal. Okay, that wouldn't surprise me at all. But so just know that, okay? And so don't be like discouraged by that. No one's playing around or anything. It's just sometimes it can take that kind of time. It just depends, again, on how big the claim can be, but the claim will never be larger than the limits of your insurance. Again, another reason why I tend to increase the limits. Because when you show a claims adjuster that, hey, there's a potential 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, or 120,000 or something like that there to go get, we just have to prove it. That's different than saying 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. And unfortunately, the majority of individuals, when we go to purchase insurance, we're purchasing shopping on price and going, well, which coverage, just give me the least amount of coverage that I need. And it's often the worst decision possible, because the worst thing you ever want when you need insurance is the insurance company to pay the policy limits and be done. Because once they've done that, they're done. They have no further obligation. So, and oftentimes, as proven today, I'm paying $100 less per unit for the exact same, for more insurance, and it's simply because of having it structured in all the right ways. So I'm hoping all of that helped you guys. Hold on, let me check a couple more things. All right, good. That looks great. Let me see. I don't see any calls. Awesome. Anyway, I knew I would never get anybody to register for an insurance conversation. So I took today to tell you. So hopefully that was something that you enjoyed, and in some way, shape, or form, being able to hear it happen in a real-time sense. But there are certain things you just can't cut that corner on that insurance, and you can't cut the corner on the photos, and all of the metrics matter. And for those of you who have been watching and you're like, wow, that was a lot of information, it was just around insurance, or maybe you've not yet started your career, if you will, in the short-term rental game and you're thinking of making it happen, go over to cashflowdiary.com/star. Someone type that in the chat for me. cashflowdiary.com/star. Because getting to there it can make a difference for you, because there's a ton of best practices all around this entire business that, yeah, if you spent years collecting them, you might come close to understanding everything that we've put together collectively across of all our experience. And yeah, that's great. But we suggest that you speed that process up, get more faster, join us, go to cashflowdiary.com/star. And again, it's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.